There are places in this world that shatter our perceptions. Siwa is an island in the middle of the desert where the great sand sea comes to rest at the foot of the date palms. When Alexander the Great came to Siwa to consult the oracle at the temple of Amun, the most famous in the ancient world, it confirmed he was the son of the god of gods, Pharaoh of Egypt. Like a legacy of this mythical past, an aura of eternity hangs over Siwa. This large oasis, bordered by its two lakes of turquoise blue, is unique in Egypt. The most westerly of the oases of the Libyan desert, it is inhabited by the country's only Berber community. It has managed to preserve its groves and the traditional way of life of the oasis's 25,000 inhabitants. These days, Siwa attracts travelers in search of authenticity, far from the hordes of tourists who flock to the banks of the Nile. In this area of limited resources, the natural way forward for tourism is sustainable development. This is the spirit that guided the construction of a stunning eco-lodge, Adreri Amalal Oasis. Ibrahim Ramaz is an architect, a native of Cairo. He was in charge of bringing together the ideas underlying this collective initiative. In terms of sustainable development in the oasis, this architectural ensemble, built in 1996, is meant to be a model of the genre. It was made in close collaboration with the local population, and the impact on the environment has been kept to a minimum, thanks, for example, to the decision not to use electricity.
It's a natural building, there's no doubt about it. And it is adapted to the climate. It's pleasant in summer and winter alike, and it doesn't harm the environment, which is fantastic. One of the reasons for the project's success is that we build the eco-lodge with help of the people of Siwa and with their ideas. So, it was a collective initiative, and that is what enabled us to see it through to a successful conclusion.
Rock salt, palm and olive wood, all the natural materials used come from the oasis. The craftsmanship and the know-how of the Siwans can be found in the details of every room, from the Bedouin rugs to the furniture carved from salt blocks. Nothing was planned in advance, and the design evolved on-site as inspiration took hold. Starting with a series of derelict properties, the Siwans built, house after house, a hotel with the feel of a Medina. The all Siwan staff received high-quality training, and now some 300 local families benefit directly or indirectly from the economic opportunities generated by the hotel. Lying in the heart of a militarized border zone, Siwa was off-limits to foreigners for years. With the influx of tourists, the oasis has returned to the past, to the days of the great caravans, when it welcomed many travelers. In Siwa and the Libyan desert, the Equitable Tourism Initiative is being developed in conjunction with the local populations. Farmers by tradition, the Siwans have been actively involved in opening up their oasis to tourism and are taking advantage of this new economic manner to diversify their income. The camel safaris that cross the White Desert these days follow the same routes as the caravans of yore. And as in times past, the journey is punctuated with halts in small oases where man and beast can quench their thirst. Beneath the arid surface of the Libyan desert lie shallow underground aquifers fed by the Nile, and many springs gush out of the sand to form oases of greenery. Fruits of nature and of man's labor, these waterholes are as indispensable as they are fragile. Not far from Siwa, G.E.I.E appears like a mirage among the barren dunes. The luxurious vegetation of this wild oasis conceals a sulfur-rich hot spring. Its relaxing waters attract travelers in need of a break during their long journey. The existence of several hundred springs in and around Siwa can be explained by the area's average elevation, which is below sea level. They provide a continual supply of water, and this is why Siwa's lakes, authentic fossil seas, have not completely dried up. However, the lake's elevated salinity means the water cannot be used for irrigation purposes. The oasis's real treasure is fresh water. It gives life to the lush vegetation that makes Siwa one of the Sahara's most beautiful oases. It irrigates the vast groves of olive trees and date palms that the Siwans have always cultivated. For centuries, this fertile soil has nourished a population of farmers devoted to working the land. The reputation of Siwa's olive oil and dates is firmly established, and these products are exported all over Egypt. Now, the emergence of tourism has opened up new perspectives for the inhabitants of the oasis.
My name's Ali Suleiman. I'm the son of a Siwan farmer, and I've inherited my father's skills. I know how to work the land. I know what has to be done during the different seasons. Before this, I used to just work in the gardens, and then we decided to build this hotel. The hotel has become an important source of extra income for my family, and it has improved our social condition. At first, we were not accustomed to earning a living in this way. But it has enabled us to buy everything we needed. The hotel supplements our income from farming. We cannot live from farming alone. The hotel was a good idea, and thanks to God, it is doing well.
The Siwan's ability to manage the destiny of the oasis probably stems from their culture and their history of solidarity. For in the past, this Berber population had to face the adversity of men and of nature. In 1203, the 40 survivors of Siwa's Berber community, decimated by the repeated attacks of neighboring tribes, built Shali fortress. Shali is made of kershef, a mixture of clay and rock salt found only in Siwa's salt lakes. The Siwans lived behind Shali's walls for over 700 years, but in 1926, the fortress was destroyed by torrential rains. The town literally melted in the downpour as kershef disintegrates on contact with water. These days, the fortress resembles an ice cream melting in the sun. It is now an historic monument.
We first came to Siwa in 2001. It's one of the quietest and most pleasant spots in Egypt. There may be tourism here, but it isn't mass tourism. You can still find quiet spots, such as this place. You can hear the birds, and there isn't too much traffic. I really enjoy being in Siwa.
I am very fond of Siwa. And I'm not just saying that because it's my home. When I have to leave Siwa, as soon as I get on the bus, I start feeling homesick. I enjoy the quiet here and the people's kind-heartedness. There is a natural quiet here. It is far from pollution, and there is plenty to discover. Even though I'm not a native Siwan, I discover new things almost every day, which gladden the heart and delight the eye. Every time, I think to myself how great the creator of this universe is.
You need time to visit Siwa, time to discover the Berber way of life and the culture of its inhabitants. Time to soak up Siwa's exceptional atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.